The NRA convention is underway, and joining us now live is the owner of Beverly Hills Guns, Russell Stuart. And, you know, Russell, thank you so much for joining us. There's been some really powerful moments there, and I saw quite a bit when President Trump spoke yesterday and started with sort of a moment of silence, of course, and talking about just, so many of the things that have been going on. Of course, what happened in Uvalde, it's just heartbreaking. How powerful was that speech from the president? It seemed really moving.
Well, thank you so much for having me on this morning. The speech was absolutely incredible. I think the energy here since I got here 2 days ago has been incredibly somber. The overall tone has been so different, obviously, because of this crazy and horrible mass shooting. But the president's speech was so uplifting. Having him read off all of those names, people were in tears here. And those people that are protesting across the street who think that all of these people are monsters, they are family members, they are husbands and wives and parents, and they are all grieving for these people. And President Trump's speech really, really hit home with everybody here.
What are some of the other things that are going to be happening at the convention, too? Because I know Ted Cruz and a number of others are speaking, too.
Senator Cruz spoke and had a fantastic speech, but I really think that this is about the firearms community coming together and grieving as a family. You know, this is not just about guns, it's about protection, and that's what Mr. Trump had said yesterday, that he wants to harden schools, stop these gun-free zones, and get trained people into these places so we can protect our kids. And that is everyone's mindset here at this convention all weekend.
What are some of the things in terms of school protection, in terms of armed guards potentially, or other things? What are the ideas that are coming up at that convention? Because that is so important.
Well, I think the president said it. I mean, we cannot have these gun-free zones. This gunman 2 days ago walked into a school unabated and shot 19 beautiful, sweet children. That should never happen. And then having law enforcement officers standing outside for over an hour without anybody going in is just unbelievable. So we need to have armed guards at every single school. And the president said, why are we sending $40 billion over to Ukraine when we could be spending money on school resource officers, security, and even law enforcement to be at our schools every single day so our kids stay safe?
Yeah, and also, the other thing I think about is training, because at this school district, they had a protocol in place, but it seemed like there was a lot of holes in it, too. It's really being effective and taking them into the training phase, too. I want to talk with you about also, Russell, and get your take on some of the calls for red flag laws. What's been the discussion there? And I know that President Trump touched on mental illness, because if you look in this case in Uvalde, and you also think about even in Sandy Hook, these were clearly individuals with troubled history, mental illness, had problems, and yet there wasn't something in the system. What's the discussion there on that?
Well, I personally am a massive supporter of expanding background checks into social media. There's not one social media platform on today that you cannot post some kind of a comment about COVID-19 or vaccines without you being flagged and even having your possible account suspended. How this kid could have gone on to multiple social media platforms, posted about wanting to rape other students, murder students, go into the school and shoot up the place, and there's no red flag. I think social media companies need to step up, because every single one of these shooters always wants to telegraph what they want to do and post it on social media. I think that they have a responsibility to be able to flag these posts, send them directly to law enforcement so we can stop these things before they happen.
Yeah, it is unconscionable when we see some of the things that are out there and that we're learning about the shooter in Uvalde, too. It's just heartbreaking, too. Russell, thank you very much. We really appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.